Hi, it's Corota. Today's November 14th, and this marks a return to podcasting, I hope. I can be found as Studio Corota on Instagram and Corota2 on Ravelry. And I have a blog also under the name of Studio Corota at blogspot.com. But it is pretty much dead. But you can go back and read some of my earlier writings about my quilt life, mainly. And I'm also on Facebook as Studio Corota. And I think that's it. I think that's the limit of my social media. And of course, YouTube. So, welcome to House of Stitches. House of Stitches because I kind of dabble in anything that has to do with fiber. So, here I am. I've been gone. I've missed podcasting. I did my last one, I think, in the spring. And this is going to be an unedited version. Hopefully not very long. Feel a little bit rusty, you know how it is. But I will say that watching other podcasters has been encouraging. So, you know, it's kind of helping me build up my own confidence to do this again, try it again. So, and then those emails and texts, you know, asking about me has been also encouraging. You know, I never think that anyone would really notice because I keep trying to ease into this knitting community, crochet community, and really not sure where I've landed, if I've like landed at all. So I do appreciate those little inquiries asking about my well-being and my return to podcasting. So thank you. You know who you are. So, like I said, this is going to be an unedited version. So you're going to probably get a lot of natural speech, such as uhs and ahs and pauses and sounds that I may make as if we're sitting here chatting one-to-one, face-to-face. So if you don't like that kind of thing, I'll see you later, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of let you know. I'm going to share what I'm doing knit-wise, where I want to go knit-wise. And then I'm going to just share a little bit about what has kept me from knitting. I had a dry spell of about 5 months, maybe. And it's very important. The topic is very relevant to people who are visual, who have the need to be visual in their making. So I want to talk share a little bit about that, and because I've always been about the need to be expressive in terms of one's well-being. I would never say art and healing, but I will say art is relevant to well-being, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So I will share a little about that because I think it's important. So anyway, let me go ahead and get started. I am working on a poncho still. I just actually picked it back up for my daughter. I bought the yarn back in the spring, I do believe, or maybe early summer. And it's basic 2x2 ribbing. And when I first started, I can't tell you how many times I frogged it. I made so many mistakes and dropped stitches. And I think that had to do with me just being shook, you know, just not being in the you know, just not being on the one with the knitting and the yarn and the needles. It just wasn't happening. So I set it down for a long time. And when I picked it back up, everything was fine. Everything was fine. So I've been working on this, and I'm a slow knitter. I'm not a fast knitter. This is the most boring thing. 2x2 ribbon. I need 50-something inches of it. 56 inches, I think, of it. But it gave me my chops back, my confidence, and it felt safe. It feels safe still. So even though I'm bored out of my mind doing it, it's something I'm doing well. It's something I'm doing well. So you know, there are times that I would like, oh, I have to have something else to go with this. I'm pretty much monogamous on this. Do a couple of inches a day, I guess. And I just, like I said, recently picked it back up. I guess maybe month ago. But, and the yarn is a Lion brand, Vantage Choice. Love it. It's got a lot of squish to it, a lot of stretch. Very soft, very drapery. And also I purchased straight needles to do this. It's a free pattern called the Chatworth poncho. It's on my project page. If you go to Ravelry, Corota 2, if you want the name of it, but I think it's called the Chatworth poncho. And it's a free pattern. But I started out with smaller needles, smaller straight needles, and they were bamboo. I can't think of the brand, but I really liked them. They were pretty nice. And then I switched to a larger straight needle. And these are just big box store needles. I think Boy is the brand. And this is my first time actually using straight needles effectively. I've only had one other project where I was using straight needles and I ended up frogging it, so I didn't get very far on it. But these work very fine, well enough. The points are very round, but they seem to grab this yarn very well. So I don't have any issue with that, surprisingly. The glide on them, it's okay. I think my hand tends to cramp, which I haven't experienced with my circulars. I haven't experienced that, but it tends to cramp right in here with them. So that's the only thing I've noticed that's different. Then also the ends will kind of poke, you know, but I kind of go blind to that after a while. It's not a serious thing, but I just noticed that sometimes they're touching my belly, you know, as I knit. So, but that's okay. And I think they're, you know, they're fine. I don't know that I would use them, you know, all the time for different things, but they're okay. They're okay. So, like I said, the other side of this, the right side, has cables. And that's one reason I was excited to make it. My daughter asked for it. And I thought, wow, she's asking for me to make her something. Wow, okay, I'll make it. And but I was excited because I've never done cables before. So I thought, okay, I was looking to make sure the video was still going, and it is. So I've never done cables before, so I'm excited to do the right side. I almost started to do them at the same time, but I don't think I could have had the confidence to work the cables when I started this. So I'm going to finish this first and then do the cables. Like I said, I'm a slow knitter, and I think at this time I really kind of just want to concentrate slowly on one or two things. So that's what I'm working on. Most of the time. What I'd like to start, since my confidence is kind of, you know, getting there, I'd like to start on the Hotel of Bees shawl. This is something this is a paid for pattern, but I had started it back when it first came out, I guess, and put it down, or had to put it down. And I got different yarns. They're all kind of, it's a summer shawl, so they're all kind of like cotton-based or linen-based yarns. And I'll go through that when I actually start. But this is what I'd like to start as my challenge piece. It's crochet. And several pages. This is more like a little booklet. So I'd like that. I kind of wanted it for the summer, but at this rate, I'll have it for this coming summer, so next summer. So that's what I'd like to start. And what I would like to also pick back up, you know, this was supposed to be my year for socks, right? Well, I kind of started and didn't really make the progress that I wanted to. But I did. You have to excuse me for a minute. Oh well, I can't find my sock. All right. Well, anyway, I did finish my training sock, I call it. And then after I finished the training sock, I started on my for real socks. And this is it. This is a toe-up construction using the magic loop method. And thanks to Happy Knits for showing that, doing a little training video on that. And this is a pattern sock, and I can't think of, oh, it's from the Book of Socks. And I can't think of the pattern right now. I should have had that. I'm not prepared. But anyway, it's a toe-up construction, and this is another one I started a gazillion times over before I finally got it. And the yarn is a Knit Picks yarn, but I can't think of the name, which one, but it's Knit Picks. And I found it, for what I've put it through when I first started, over and over and over again, I found it to be a tough yarn and affordable. Very affordable. So this may be, you know, Knit Picks may be my go-to sock yarn. I'm trying to build up my sock yarn collection. That was my intention this year. And I'm keeping this in a bag made by Kina. What is her podcast? The Vegas Dealer, or the Crafty Vegas Dealer. Okay, I probably might be getting that wrong. I don't think she's made a podcast in a while either, too. But it's a drawstring. I really kind of like these drawstring bags. So that is kind of where I'm at. I'm not going to get overwhelmed and show you a lot of stuff. I will say, you notice my background is kind of different. I have a knitting room. I have a knitting room. Yes, you heard that right. You know, I used to say that we live in a multi-generational household. Well, my daughter and my 2 grandchildren, they moved out, which freed up 2 bedrooms. And I thought, I'm going to uncramp my basement space because it's both sewing and knitting and whatever else. So I quickly moved all my yarn related things into upstairs, right across from my bedroom, into one of the bedrooms. And I made it my knitting room. And I'm going to intentionally keep it sparse. And not crowded. Because I was going to move my sewing up here too. And I thought, no, don't do that. So, yeah. So I feel very, fortunate to have a knitting room. So my plan is to get maybe another chair or 2, or probably 1 more chair, and so I can maybe invite a friend over to knit. Yeah, about 1 chair, maybe 2, But yeah, I'll show it one day, but not today. But so I'm sitting in my knitting room. Nothing's on the wall really. I started to hang some of my quilts, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not, because I still have many quilts that are rolled up and stored. But no, I'm going to kind of just keep it solely the knitting room. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, and it kind of helps me to get my focus on. So, but the reason that I lost my mojo is because my vision began to go. No, actually, I kind of lost my vision. And it was happening where my vision would black out for like a few seconds and then clear up. But it was happening frequently through the day. And so I was recently diagnosed also with kidney disease. So I thought maybe this was related to diabetes / kidney disease, and it wasn't. It was not. Long story short, I ended up working with 3 neurosurgeons, neuro-ophthalmology doctors, and had to have surgery on both my eyes to save my vision. It didn't improve my vision, it stopped it from getting worse. And after the surgery, I could only see in black and white. Weird. My color cones were somehow not healed yet. It took about 2 weeks. the first color that I was able to see, and still the strongest color that I'm able to see, is a royal blue, electric blue. And I can now see color, but it's toned down. I don't see the depth of color. It's very shaded, and things that I know were bright neon, I don't see that. I see it through a very grayed lens. I can see that it's red or orange, but it's like looking through a gray veil. And of course, being a visual artist or trying to develop, you know, that side of me, always, it was, I don't know, it took a piece of me. It just took a large piece of me, as you can imagine. And so what I started to do, I didn't want to touch the yarn. I didn't want to touch the fabric. But what I did do is take my paints and my journals. I have journals, mixed media journals, and begin to just slap paint, different color paints, to see what I could see. Every day I'd go down to downstairs into my little craft space and just choose colors, just to see what they look like, just to see what I could see, you know, and just do really these abstract, you know, things. Then I began to just try to draw faces from photos, you know. So just as a way to know what I could do, see what I could do to keep going. And I did that for weeks before I picked the yarn back up, the needles back up to knit. But that was scary, it was frightening. Still is, really. But you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy. I can see. I can see. So I'm just working with what I work with. You know, I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna rise. I'm gonna rise above it. I'm gonna rise above it. And so I just wanted to share that, because as creative people, our senses probably are heightened. You know, we use probably a heightened sense, a wider range of senses to do what we do. And so I was asking myself, I even tried to sew. It was funny, I was breaking needles. I tried to use my machine and I thought, it's because I couldn't see. And I was joking with my friend. I said, I wonder if blind sewing is a thing. Maybe I can make it a thing. But these are readers. I can't really get my eyes examined. They won't be fully healed until about February. They said about 6 months out. So I've been using readers to kind of read. And my glasses are not effective. My regular prescription glasses with the progressive bifocals are no longer effective for me. So I just kind of use these readers to read anything up close. I was using the magnifying glass, you know, this whole... But I was going to do it. I was going to do it. I was not going to not create. And to me, that was the victory. That was my victory. I was not going to create. So have you ever had an adversity that affected your art in such a way that it changed your identity or challenged your identity? Have you ever experienced that? How did you handle it? But with that said, I'm going to bid you peace. You know, every time I say that on camera, I feel like going peace, love, and soul. It's a Soul Train reference. But anyway, Don Cornelius, rest his soul. But with that, I'm going to bid you peace. And I don't know how often I'm going to do this, but hopefully often enough that we can connect and I can continue to form relationships with the knitting community. Bye-bye.